Good evening, everybody. So this evening is a special one because we've been doing the monthly meditation for March. We're going to do the Tonglen, which I taught earlier on in the month, but we're going to do it again. So Tonglen is the art of giving and receiving. It's typically a Tibetan meditation. And it's used with the visualization of taking in gray smoke and giving out kind of like a white light. So it's called giving and receiving. But first of all, before we even start the practice, just to remember that you have to tend to your own frequency. You tend to your own vibration. You tend to how you feel first. So even though this is a practice of compassion, of giving and receiving compassion, and you want to help all beings, you must take care of yourself first. That is the general principle of this meditation. I heard a teaching once, I was taught this, and I thought a really interesting way was in the teachings of Jesus, that when he ever went to heal anybody, he would always see them as completely well. He would not see their sickness. He would see them as completely well, completely perfect human beings. And he wouldn't get drawn into the suffering, drawn into the story. He took care of his vibration and his frequency. And that's what I love about Tonglen meditation, is because it really encourages us to do that, to stand in our own power. And even though we're being compassionate, we still have good taking care of ourselves first. What is it you can't fill from an empty cup? You know, you have to take care. So part of this Tonglen is really about taking care of ourselves. So there's kind of 4 stages. The first one is we enter the state of shunyata. We enter the state of clear mind, which is what we've been doing all week, letting go of the thoughts, the everyday thoughts, being able to just see them come and go as clouds, and get in touch with that real deep inside being that's there with us all the time, not reliant on your job, your gender, your age, the baby, the person you were born as, that true sense of self. So that's the first state. We stay in that clear sense of being. And then we begin to expand and open. And we almost kind of radiate through the pores of the body. We begin to really kind of feel very expansive. And we find what's good about this practice is if you can make it as personal as possible. I'm going to guide you through it. So I will guide you through, you know, some very painful feelings that probably we've all had, maybe experiencing the loss of a parent or a child, a sibling. You know, everybody has experienced grief, and being able to touch that feeling yourself and know that another person is feeling that, and really connect with their grief as well as yours. And then you transform it. You breathe it in, transform it, and breathe it out. Now, if you find yourself feeling very overwhelmed in this practice, or kind of very fearful, you come back to your own vibration. And if you're like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this feeling, then just be aware of what you're feeling and kind of go, oh, I'm feeling fear here. Breathe in your own fear and breathe out what would be the opposite of that, would be peace and calm and knowing that all is well. And so breathing in your fear and breathing out, knowing all is well. And when you're ready, expand that so that you can take on somebody else's fear. Maybe you know somebody else who's fearful at the moment, and you send them peace and security. Do you see what I mean? So you always take care of your own self, and then you expand it outwards. All right. So those are the kind of principles of the practice: the clear mind, the feeling of expansionness and opening, the synchronization of the breath and the visualization, and that compassion of connecting with just like me. There are other people just like me. But if it becomes too overwhelming to think about, you know, all the people in Ukraine, and you want to do this practice for the whole of Ukraine, maybe that's just too much. So you might pick just yourself. Gosh, how would I feel if I was in a war zone, if I was really frightened of dying? I breathe in that fear and I let it go. I breathe it in and I transform it into feeling peace and security. So any questions before we start? No, everybody okay with the kind of description of what we're going to do? So we're going to do, I thought we'd do kind of like 3 rounds of it. So you usually take this practice for kind of like 4 or 5 minutes each, and then kind of let it go and then sit and settle again. And so we'll do kind of 3 or 4 rounds of the practice. And then we'll have a teaching from Tara Brack, who's going to be teaching on kind of Tonglen as well. All right. So I have a little plinky plonky thing to help you enter the state of shunyata, of clear mind and of no thinking. All right, so first thing that we do is just rock on your sit bones. Now you can do this practice lying down. You can do it any way you want, but I would recommend kind of sitting up with your back straight, because otherwise you can kind of fall asleep. So it's also good when you just rock on your sit bones and become really aware of your lower belly. So become really aware of your lower dantian. And if you like, you can take the cord down through the perineum and take it down, 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 and connect with the center of the earth, feeling that yin, nourishing female mother supporting you. Ready to receive any of those thoughts, any of those fears. We're just going to let them dissolve into the ground. And now taking the energy upwards through the sternum, up through the throat, through the top of the head, and you can plug into the North Star. Feel your yin and yang and come really into the body, closing your eyes, really feeling your body. Become aware of the breath. You can do this practice with your eyes closed or your eyes open. And first of all, we're really just going to follow the sound. And follow the sound even as it drifts away. So we begin to feel our own thoughts just drifting away, opening to the clear sky of our true mind. So sitting like a mountain. Any thoughts that come into your mind, just feel them passing like clouds. Hear the sounds around you. Be aware of where you are, but letting all thoughts disappear. No following the thoughts, just let them dissolve like clouds. And when you're ready, I want you to feel into the feeling of grief. Maybe you know somebody who's grieving at the moment. Maybe you yourself have grieved. Maybe you're grieving at the moment. You can take yourself to a time where you were really, really sad. You had lost somebody very close. Feel exactly how that would feel for the other person. And just feel your heart expanding. Feel that compassion for the other person who's grieving. Maybe you've even seen somebody on television, somebody on the news, somebody desperate with grief. And you know how that feels. You know how it feels to be completely grieving. So sad that somebody has gone. Open your heart for the other person, same as you. And really picture in your mind's eye that person grieving. And you know how they feel. And imagine that grief is like a ball of grey smoke. And you're going to breathe that grey smoke in. And then you're going to breathe out. White light of transformation and peace. You don't have to worry about this happening. Just the same as your heart beats, your heart is able to transform these emotions. You don't have to worry about them doing that or not doing it. Just breathe in the grey smoke of grief. Feel it transform. Breathe out, wishing them peace and understanding for the natural flow of life. Breathe in and breathe out. And maybe the grief you feel is overwhelming. Breathe in your own grief, like a sticky ball of grey. Synchronize with the breath. Breathe out, feeling the white light of peace filling your body. Take in the grey. Breathe out the white. Breathe in the grey of grief and loss. And breathe out white light, filling every cell with peace and understanding. Keeping the heart open. If you feel any feelings arising of fear, imagine them as a grey ball and breathe out the peace of white peace and safety. Breathing in the grey smoke, breathing out the white. Expanding your heart, taking in more peace, taking in more of the grey, breathing out the white light. See how far you can expand. Maybe you can imagine more people grieving, taking in their grey grief, breathing out the white of peace. Breathing in the grey of grief, of desolation, and breathing out the white, clear crystal peace. Feel it filling your body and sending it to the people who are also grieving. Maybe you want to pick a whole country, expanding your heart, Breathing in the grey for all those mothers who've lost children. Breathe out the white light of peace and comfort. Breathe in the grey of their pain. The empathy you feel, you know how that feels. Breathing in the grief of people who've lost a parent. Breathing out the white light of peace and support. Maybe you can do this for the whole country. Breathing in the grey. Feel it transforming in the heart. Breathing out the compassion. You know how this feeling is. Breathing in the grief and desolation of loss. And breathing out the compassion, the white light, the holding. Breathing in the grey. Feel it transforming. Breathing out compassion and love, understanding. Breathing in the grey, and breathing out white to all those people who are suffering grief and loss. Breathing in their confusion. You know how this feels. You felt confused by grief. Feel it in your own body and then feel it transforming. And breathe out the white light of peace and understanding, care and support. Feeling the white light filling your whole body as you breathe out. And then sending this love to all the people who have lost and feel confused. Send them your empathy and your support. Relieve them of the grey, sticky confusion. And bless them with your white light transformation of love and support. Keep it synced with the breath, breathing in the sticky grey, feel it transforming to shining bright white. Let the mind go. No need to think or judge. Just follow the practice. If it gets too much, just remember your own grief and confusion. Breathe that in, a sticky ball of grey, and breathe out love and compassion towards yourself. Breathing in sticky grey, taking in the confusion, and breathing out white clarity and peace, sending that to all the people. Now letting the practice drop and fall away, just shaking it off, shaking it out. Oh, you can rub your hands, rub your face. Rub the body. Still stay in the meditation, not following any thoughts or judgments. Shake it off. Let's do another round. And just finding a nice peaceful way to sit, grounding your body, and just let the music settle your mind, letting any confusion or fear just settle and fall and dissolve like clouds. And we enter the true state of being, the nature of true mind, no thoughts to grasp after, letting them come and go. Sitting in true compassion, open-hearted. Feel every pore of your body open with compassion. We're going to pick homelessness. Let's see if you can feel into your body how it would feel to be homeless. Have you ever had a time in your life where you weren't sure where you were going to live? You didn't know where you were going to go. You were unsure of your path. That fear. I want you to feel that fear, that instability. Breathe it in like grey smoke. And breathe out. Transform the white light of security and safety. Feeling completely safe in your body. Breathe in the fear of instability, insecurity. Breathe out white light of security. And remember, if this brings up the feelings of fear, breathe them in, open them into your own heart. Accept these feelings of fear and insecurity. Transform them and feel really secure in the body you are in now. Feel it transforming into white light. Breathing in the grey. Opening the heart to compassion. Breathing white light. Now extending this further, maybe you can feel how it would feel to be a mother, perhaps with children, not having anywhere to go, not knowing where they're going to go, being insecure. Breathe that in. Feel the compassion of your heart. You know how that is, same as you. Breathe it in as grey. Transform it into white light and breathe out peace and security for her. Breathe in grey smoke. Feel the transformation and compassion and breathe out security. Feel the security. It's okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. White light of security. It's okay. Everything will be okay. Breathing in. Feeling those feelings that you've had before of insecurity. Breathing out the white light of feeling completely secure where you are now. Feeling your body full of the white light of security. And when you're ready, expand that out to perhaps all the people who've lost their homes through bombs, all the people that are homeless right now. Send them compassion. Breathe in the black smoke, the grey smoke, and breathe out the white of compassion. Breathing in the grey smoke, connecting with those people, knowing how frightened they must feel because they're the same as you and how frightened you feel. Feel a transformation and breathe out. The security of knowing everything will be okay. Breathe it in. Grey, sticky, black smoke. Breathe it out. Clear white. And if you feel all this is getting too much, just feel yourself sitting with an expanding heart. Breathing in the grey and breathing out white. You can let go of the people and just breathing in the white, the grey, transforming it in your heart and breathing out white light. Sending those vibes of security and peace. Everything will be okay. And I'm going to invite anybody that has any suggestions for the Tonglen to type those into the chat box. So just letting go of the practice. Taking the last breath in of sticky grey, breathing out. The white light, feel your whole body completely full of white light, radiating that out pore by pore, all through the body, through the spine, back of the head, top of the head, all through the shoulders, the pelvis, right to the tips of the toes. You're transforming the grey, filling the body full of white light, and that is emanating, transforming that for all living beings. Now, dropping the practice, shaking it off, letting it go. If anybody has got a topic they would like to pick, if anybody is really feeling a fear or some kind of compassion they would like, then I can do that. You can just type it in the chat box if you'd like. Otherwise, I'll pick the last one. Okay. So the last one that I pick will be the fear of death. So it's a biggie. It's a biggie. We can do it. So let's just shake everything off. Let's shake everything off. Rubbing the body. Rubbing the body. Giving great love for the body. Hello, body. Now just settling again, settling into the pelvis, back nice and straight. Coming into the open state of mind, true mind, where thoughts go and flow like clouds. Let your mind follow the sound. Feel the sound and the vibration and the frequency of the air. as you touch your true state of being. Mind open, thoughts rising and clearing, leaving a wonderful blue open sky. Energy traveling down from the mind to the open heart, and the solid base and the power of the lower dantian supporting all of that. The clear open mind, the compassionate heart, and the powerful dantian, lower dantian. Feel the openness of that channel. Feel the heart open. And now feel if there's anywhere in you that you could really understand the fear of your own death. And that fear. So maybe it's very small, that's cool. Maybe it's a little overwhelming. We're just going to make that a little piece of grey smoke. We're going to breathe it in. And we're going to transform it. It's not your time now. Into white security, knowing that everything is going to be okay. Breathing in that grey fear, that confusion that comes with the fear. And we're going to transform it into a beautiful white, peaceful light, filling your body with the security and peace that everything will be okay. Breathing in, grey sticky smoke, transforming it in the heart into the white crystal light, entering every pore, knowing that everything is going to be okay. Tapping into that fear of the unknown and releasing it, secure in the knowledge that everything's going to be okay. Now maybe you know somebody who's perhaps close to death or perhaps frightened of death. Maybe you can imagine all the people who are in Ukraine who are frightened of death because it's right on their doorstep. Gather that fear together. Breathe it in like a sticky grey. Just automatically feel the heart transforming it and breathe out the peace, sending them peace. Everything will be okay. Breathing in, sticky grey, and breathing out, beautiful white compassionate light. Feel it from every pore of your body. Breathing in and breathing out. Remember, if that becomes too overwhelming, just come back to yourself, breathing in the grey of your own fear and breathing out. Everything is okay. Everything will be okay. Breathing in the fear of death and breathing out the security. Feel it deep in your body, the white light entering every pore. Breathing in the grey, the acceptance of the fear, and breathing out white light, feeling the transformation of that. Feeling the peace. And then when you can and when you're ready, you take that for other people. Their fear of death transformed to white light. And see that really flowing over them. May they be happy, may they be well. Taking in the sticky grey, transforming it into white light. Through every pore of your body, flow that to whoever you feel drawn. And if that's yourself, that's okay. We cannot fill from an empty cup. We know how it is to be fearful of death, so we can transform that for others. Taking in that grey and breathing out the white. Another few breaths. Last breath. Feel the grey, feel the transformation, and feel every cell in your body being filled with a beautiful white light of peace, acceptance, serenity, knowing that everything will be okay. very gently in your own time, coming to, keeping a nice open state of mind, and I'll begin the teaching.
There's a Tibetan teacher. He took a large piece of paper and he posted it, and he drew it was big blank. He drew a tiny little V on it, and then he asked the students that were there, "Well, what is this?" And everybody said it was a bird. And he said, "It's the sky with a bird flying through it. The sky with a bird flying through it." And this speaks to the habit of our mind, which is we fixate on the bird, we fixate on the object, we fixate on our thoughts or the sounds or whatever's in the foreground, other people, on the forms, not on the background, on the formless quality of awareness, on spirit, on wholeness. So if I ask you, who are you? You might give your gender identity or sexual orientation or your age or ethnicity, your type of work, your race, you might talk about your parents, your partners, roles with people. You might say, I'm a person who loves beauty or who has this talent, say athletics or art, or has that weakness. You get the idea. These are the kind of things that we might say when we say, who are you? As many of you know, I often refer to the story of the Golden Buddha, which was for centuries covered by plaster and clay until they discovered it was actually a solid gold Buddha. We identify with the covering, with the mask, with the persona, and we forget the gold that's shining through. We forget the light of presence. Let's take a little experiment here, another reflection. For the next 15 seconds, I'd like to invite you to try not to be aware. Okay, starting now, try not to be aware. Try not to be aware. Okay, that's enough. Now, if I did a hand raise and said, how many of you were successful? Most of you wouldn't raise your hand. Some would, but most wouldn't. Now, again, just take a moment to pay attention to, you might close your eyes or just go inward a little. And take a moment again to try not to be aware. And now just to notice the quality of awareness that's here. Awareness is here. What's it like? What do you notice about awareness? What's fundamental about awareness itself? Can you sense that awareness is utterly open? There's no center, there's no boundary. Can you sense that awareness is knowing? It's inherently knowing, cognizant. Can you sense that awareness has got a tenderness to it? It's sensitive, responsive. And can you sense that awareness is always already here? So here's the challenge, that if you're striving to find awareness, to realize what or who you are, the striving blocks it. What'll happen is you'll generate an image or a story or an idea, not a direct, you won't directly inhabit this formless reality. Another illustration that comes to mind, it's like being in a motorboat trying to get to calm waters, to a place of peace or stillness, but everywhere you go, the roar of the motor is there and it's stirring up more waves. And what's needed really is just to turn off the motor, to stop trying to get anywhere, just to be. It's already here. Just be. So the most basic approach to realizing the ocean, to realizing true nature, is letting go of control, not trying to get somewhere else. It's non-doing. It's a kind of surrendering presence. So this is the first approach to being the awareness that is who we are. And it really has to do with, when it's quiet, just practicing non-doing, just being with what is, relaxing with, really surrendering any controlling. And I encourage you, especially if there's some quietness in your sittings, every time you practice, a little bit of time where there's just non-doing presence, not controlling.
No. I've set you to unmute. So I picked that teaching. I just loved the idea of when you've got a V on a piece of paper, that's what people see. They see the bird, but that there's this huge amount of space, and that amount of space is always here, you know, and that non-doing and just being able to be with who you are when you're not following the thoughts. We are just so gorgeous, that inner person, and the person we're born as, you know. I used to think, gosh, I think the same as I did when I was like 7 or 6, you know, that way of thinking hasn't changed. That's because my essential nature hasn't changed. I can get caught up in different thoughts, but my essential nature is always the same, always the same. And it's that nicest part of me. If I'm too lost in my thoughts, geez, I can be so mean, I can be very cutting. And that's the part of me that's the fearful part, that wants to be in control, that wants to get things done, that wants to succeed and see everybody happy, you know. But that's actually when I can be at my meanest. I can be not compassionate, but that way of allowing my space is that nicest version of me. It's just so lovable. So when I talk about, you know, love the person, I really do love that part of me that I was born as, you know. And I don't know if anybody has touched that as well this month. I found it a really good month to just constantly have that practice as well, that reminder. And I've spent more time, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've made more of an effort at coming on at like 8 o'clock in the morning and really kind of spending more time doing the practice. It's so great to have this discipline of every weekday morning to do it. So that's my kind of experience. That's why I picked that Tara teaching. And also, how are you with the Tonglen? How are you with the Tonglen? Again, I think that is the easiest to do when you let go of the thoughts of like, I can't do this. Oh my God. Just basically, oh my God. And no more, oh my God, really. If you let go of those and you just kind of trust that it's just breathing in and breathing out. And then people were saying kind of, well, why would you meditate? That's not really going to help anyone. But do you know what I find is I find that actually when I spend more time doing the practice, I'm more compassionate in real life. That's it. You know, that it does make a difference, that in my day-to-day encounters, when I've practiced that more, I'm more able to be compassionate. I can see more opportunities to be compassionate because I'm kind of almost pointing in that direction. So I would love to hear also what you have to being separate. I'm sorry, Grace, that I didn't see that until we'd already started. Being separated from loved ones. That would be a great one to do, huh? That would, because we've all experienced that with COVID. And that's the thing with Tonglen, because Tonglen is very special. It means that you're feeling compassionate rather than pity. When you see somebody and you feel sorry for somebody, oh, sure, look at them. Oh, geez, poor them. It's a slightly different quality than actually kind of, wow, I know how that feels. And you can actually be truly compassionate then, because they are the same as me.
Hi, Joanne. That was lovely, and I agree with you very much with the meditation because it's something I got into many years ago and have got deeper into it actually since COVID, which is amazing sort of, and it has definitely changed my life and my health, my compassion towards people, and it was great because I had an incident last Sunday where it was a tough situation. And I felt compassion for myself because I was so upset. But I had to then work through it and come out and sort of still feel compassion for the other person. So it was, and I don't think without having had worked on myself over the years that I would have been able to be in that position. That I would, and somebody else rang which in my to see how I was. I said, "Oh, I'm back to my bouncy old self," and it's great, but definitely, and it's something that people just find, as you say. I probably years ago would have said to me, "What are you doing sitting there doing nothing?" Just being. But now I know that it's because I think it connects you with that inner inner being, as you say, that's there. And lots of us, we don't know it's there. We think we're somebody else. And I love to think, who do you say I am? Who am I? Because we always say, well, I'm, as you say, I'm a teacher, I'm an artist, I'm whatever. But that's the role you play. But the depth of your being is there. So it's lovely. And the meditation, all the movement this month was just so beautiful, because it was all in that vein of being in your, I suppose, being in the now, really. So it was lovely. So thank you.
Thank you, Georgina. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. That's me binging bonging. How about everybody? Anybody got any questions? Anne, how are you doing?
Hi, hello to everyone. It's just been an incredible meditation, Joe. It was, for me, the visualization of the gray, the breathing in the gray, and then that transformation, my heart, I could really feel it across my heart, and then out through my heart, definitely, but through all my pores, as you were saying it, and white light. I could visualize it very easily. My heart just was wide open. It was like the compassion piece, just like me. It's the way to tap into it. That's it. It's just like me, whoever it was, the person dying in the bed that I've looked after the last week, or the lady in Ukraine who we've seen come out with her children, and she doesn't know whether her husband or partner is dead. I mean, there's just so much. It's so weighty. It's like an obesity of it. There's so much of it. It's so heavy, and yet what we can do with it, like it's like it's magic. Actually, it's like so huge, and you think it's too huge, but it's not too huge. We're okay. And yeah, I felt just my heart was very open. I think doing it in community is, so thank you so much for tonight. And it's so timely. It feels very timely for me. And then for whoever, the rest of the circle that are on here tonight, and David back there. So thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. There were some real definite nuggets in there. Thank you. Yeah. Because I know that you work often with the dying, and it can be very overwhelming, you know, when the death is all around us, and like that, we just feel it's too much. How can I do with this? So there's a tendency to just shut down and go, that's it. But then when we keep shutting down and building walls, then life is not so beautiful.
Yeah.
And life is very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Anne. Thank you. How you doing back there, Davey?
Good.
You want to share? You all right?
No, I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Oh, Maura, yeah, you can unmute. You should be, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah. Sorry, Joe. I'm on the phone, so I'm not used to it. I just wanted to say thank you. And I could, exactly what Anne just spoke, I felt as well. And just at one stage, I came in halfway through it now, so I didn't get it all, but you said something like the fear and that part of you that's afraid. Something like that. And that was so helpful, because I'm realizing how much I think I absorb of others, but actually it's that I'm not clear in it myself, and that practice is going to be wonderful, just to, you know, finding that part of me that's frightened, or me that's whatever, because it's not ever about anyone else. So I don't know how to put it into words, but I can just see now. I want to go back on the recording now and
Yes.
really let it in. And also that piece about the bird and the sky. Oh my God. I just love that's so simple. Because until she said it, I saw only the bird. That's wonderful. It's so simple.
Yeah. I was looking at loads of different things, loads of different teachings, and like, it's not a bad job. I said to Davey, do you know what I have to do like for the next hour or so is just to have a listen to lots of different teachings and pick one. It's not a bad job, not a bad job. And then I listened to that, and like in the first, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, I found the one. I found the one. Yeah, so I listened.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Isn't it?
Everything she said, but that was chung.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I
I'm
will
so
be
generous of you, Joe, tonight. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm very grateful for the community, believe me, just as much, really. Together we deepen each other's practice. We show up for each other, we support each other, and we know that we want the best for ourselves and the best for all human beings, for what life is. You know, that's why we all turn up. And to know that there's other people the same, it's fantastic. And I will be putting this in the library. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And it will only be in the library. It won't be on YouTube. So it'll only be for members of Chi Flow. Okay. But there will be a general Tonglen. There is a general. So if you have any friends who you think this practice will be good for, you can send them to my YouTube channel. Thank you, Maura. I can see Deirdre, you have unmuted.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Joe, and all the people here. I feel really, really grateful and full of gratitude that I made the time. I was late, but I allowed myself the time and I gave that time, and it's just coming at the right moment for me, because a lot of what and all the ladies have been speaking about, this overwhelm with maybe everybody's else's lives going on at the moment, or you know what's going on everywhere, and it has been feeling a little bit overwhelming for me. And I think to sit with that, as that lady just before me said, it's my stuff, and looking at me and coming back to that space. So I'm really, really grateful. And I think even the part where we sat with awareness or not awareness, and even just to say that stillness, if I can bring that more and gift myself that, I'll do more being in the stillness for myself and others than in the busyness of doing. So that was a big kind of realization, which I know, but I need to learn again and again and again and come back to that. So I'm really grateful for all of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Deirdre. Thank you. Okay, coming up to 7 o'clock. I think we will just, 8 o'clock. I haven't changed the clock. I'm looking down, I haven't changed the clock. All right, been lovely sitting with you, been really a pleasure and a privilege sitting with you. Have a great chi-filled night. I'll see you in the morning for the free class. You take it easy. Cheerio, lots of chi.